Welcome to the video, everyone. So, huge announcement from Amazon, mixed feelings about what it means. I'm going to be breaking down for you in this video after a few days of it having time to have taken effect. We've had feedback from people, from sellers. We know what it means. It isn't all good, but it isn't all bad. Let me know what you think. How has it affected you in the comment section below, and enjoy the video. So, an announcement from Amazon last week, quite an important announcement that I want to talk to you guys about here. It is something that is going to affect you as an FBA seller, and there's been a bit of confusion about what it actually means. So I'm going to try and break that down for you in this video, explain to you how it's going to affect you as a seller, what we've seen from our members, how has it affected new sellers, how has it affected existing big sellers, and what it actually means. So if you guys remember, in the summer last year, in the middle of the pandemic, there was an announcement where Amazon basically said they were introducing ASIN level quantity limits, right? Which meant that if you were a new seller, and one of the most important points, you'd only be able to send in 200 units at a time, which causes problems for people because minimum order quantities are often a lot higher than 200. So, we were hearing from students that they wanted to place an order for 500, but they weren't able to send 500 into Amazon because of this new change, right? It resulted in you having to use third-party fulfillment centers, which there were workarounds, but it was a pain. Now, there's this new news that everyone was waiting for, but it isn't as good as it seems. So I'm going to talk you through the good and the bad, basically. Because it isn't all bad, but it isn't all good. It sounds all good. So what they have essentially said is that effective April 22nd, FBA products will no longer be subject to ASIN level quantity limits. Instead, they're going to be looking at restock that will be at a storage type level, or an account wide level is another way of looking at it. So instead of there being specific restock limits for ASINs, they're now looking at it account wide, and they're breaking that down into different storage types as well. So what does that actually mean? They say that it's going to be more flexible for people. Well, straight to the point here, guys. What we've seen and feedback we've had from members, I posted in the group today, is that if you are a new seller, someone who hasn't sold anything before and you're about to ship your units in, your limit may have increased. And we are having feedback from people that the old limit of 200 has now moved up to 500. In some cases, it's moved up to 1,000, whereas before it was fixed. Now, that's a positive thing. So if you're a new seller, go and have a look inside your Seller Central. Just click on your into Manage Inventory section, click on your listing, send replenish inventory, and if you scroll down to the bottom of that page, you will see this section here, restock limits and storage volume, and it will tell you how many units you're able to send in, right? The maximum shipment quantity. Now, if that's increased, it's a good thing for people, right? So that's one positive. I mentioned in the introduction of the video and in the title, it's not all good news for Amazon sellers. And I'll be explaining to you how this has impacted some sellers within our mastermind community, the effect that it's had and why it's happened. So what we've seen from some sellers, typically bigger sellers, they're not able to launch new products because of this limitation as part of the new announcement from Amazon. So we had a seller who, before this announcement, was able to pretty much send in as many units as they want, right? When they launched new products, they did typically have a 200 unit limit as to how many they could send in, as I mentioned in the start of the video, but they could still launch new products. Now, the issue that's come to the forefront since the announcement is that this seller that I'm referring to had a restock limit of about 10,000, right? So they were allowed to have 10,000 units in FBA, but their units sell very fast. They sell hundreds of units a day. So the structure and the way that they operate is they need to constantly have pre-orders. They need to have shipments that are pending going into Amazon, into their fulfillment centers, to make sure they don't go out of stock. So quite a fine-tuned system of how it all flows. But In this example, they had a 10,000 limit. They had 5,000 left in stock, so they were in Amazon FBA, but they also had 5,000 units that were inbound. Now, unfortunately, with this new system that they have rolled out, that 5,000, those 5,000 units that are inbound to Amazon count towards that 10,000 threshold that they've got, even though they're not even in fulfillment centers. So that seller went to create a new listing, even though they had 5,000 in stock, they had 5,000 units that could have been sent into Amazon, or they thought they could send into Amazon. When they created the new listing, it said you have no ability to send in any new units because you've got 5,000 in stock and you've got 5,000 in an inbound shipment that's pending to go in, which may not have gone in for a number of weeks. So that's causing big issues. Now, previously, there were no issues like that. I've also seen an issue similar to that where I pretty much had my ability to send in inventory halved because of this change. So if you're a bigger seller, I would suggest checking your FBA Seller Central account, try to create a shipment, scroll down and have a look at what your inventory limits are. Remember, this isn't ASIN level anymore, it's account wide, and that is the implication we've been seeing from larger sellers who shift high volumes of product when they want to launch new products. Typically, because of the way that they operate and how quickly their units sell and they need to restock, it's having a big impact on new launches for larger sellers. So that's what we've been seeing, guys. We've had a week now. I wanted to wait a week to see what the impact was like and get some feedback from sellers within our mastermind community. But for new sellers, good news. Existing sellers who sell in high volumes, check your account because you may have seen this and there is no workaround at the moment. I've contacted Amazon. We have an auto response from them. The only thing you can do is use third-party fulfillment centers, which is an option, but in an ideal world, you'd want to be using FBA. So, quick video from me, guys. I hope you found it useful, and I will see you in the next one. And if you can let me know how this has affected you in the comments below, I'd hugely appreciate it. Thanks, guys.